Hi everyone, welcome to our first proper school unit, journalistic writing for our online learning. So I know some of you are thinking, oh Miss, we've already done journalistic writing. Well actually, you're right, we have, but we did it in the autumn term and we found that although we did it well at the time, that actually maybe we could have done it even better. And now you have all written really well. You're all starting to use so much more technical features in your writing, and you've really improved. So we want to see if you can even do better now and create an article that we think you will be extremely proud of. So over the next week and a half or so, I'm going to be guiding you through how to create a journalistic piece of writing that links to our suffragette story. So I really hope you enjoy this unit, and as always you can keep in touch with us on year6@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Okay, so what you are going to need for this lesson. You are going to need chapter 1 of the Suffragettes story from Purple Mash. You are going to need your multiple choice questions to do from Purple Mash, a pen, a pencil, a ruler, an exercise book or lined paper, a dictionary, and lots of concentration. So we are going to be writing down first of all our date, which is Wednesday the 29th of April 2020, and you are going to write the title Guided Reading Task, and your LI is to analyse the language of a text. So pause the video here and write down that LI and date in your book and make sure you underline. Okay, so now you have all been assigned the story of Suffragettas on Purple Mash. Your first task is to read the first chapter and complete the multiple choice questions on the to-dos box that you have been doing previously for the Nightfall on the Somme. So if you can pause the video here and go off and do that work, please make sure you submit it. Make sure you click hand in so we can see how well you are scoring. I have to say I'm quite impressed with the scores I'm getting at the moment. I'm getting some really good 5 out of 5s for a lot of those chapters. So keep it up, keep it going. Okay, I hope you found that quite straightforward and it wasn't too difficult. And I hoped you enjoyed learning about Marcus and who one of the suffragettes was, which was obviously his mother. So quite a bit of a cliffhanger ending there in that chapter. So now we are going to move on to our open-ended questions. Whereas before I asked you to do it as a PDF document on Purple Mash, I've actually put it onto the video now, so it'll be much easier for you to access it. Now, please remember, you don't need to complete the SPAG for this chapter. Mr. Lewis has done a wonderful video for you for grammar, and you would have been emailed that link this morning. So please go on your emails and just check the link. It should be there. Make sure you take care when you're reading this story, as we are using information from the story to link in with our journalistic writing. Okay, so we are now going to move on to our comprehension. You need to answer the following 5 questions in full sentences in your book. Please make sure you send us a picture of your work or email us your answers on year6@grange.harrow.sch.uk. The answers are on the next slide, but like I said, no peeking. And as I always say to my class, the only person you are cheating is yourself. So try to not look ahead, and let's see if you can actually do these questions. You can refer back to the text and please use evidence from the text to support your answers. Pause the video here so you have the questions in front of you on the screen, and I'll see you back in a little while. Okay, so I hope you found that quite easy. I hope you didn't think it was too difficult. We're going to go through the answers now, and if you can tick if you got them right, and if you didn't get them right or you need to add a little bit more, please add that in either purple pen or pencil, whatever you have. As long as you've got the answers there, it's really good to help you develop your comprehension skills. Okay, number 1. Look at the paragraph beginning another half an hour and write down 3 things that you were told about Miss Violet Lane. So we're told that Miss Violet Lane is a music hall star, that she has chestnut coloured hair and she uses a skipping rope as part of her act. So she is a celebrity in this story, okay? Someone that people look up to and want to be like. Number 2. Marcus sat upright and pressed his nose against the omnibus window. What had caught Marcus's attention? So that word, omnibus, if you had a look on the chapter, it's actually underlined, and if you click on it, you'll be able to see what omnibus means. And it's actually a carriage that's pulled by horses. And it was the first type of bus that was around in London. So people use it all the time during those times, during World War I, to actually travel around the streets of London. But it obviously wasn't a motorised vehicle. Okay, so it was drawn by horses. So there seemed to be some commotion outside Buckingham Palace, and there was a lot of noise. So that is what that's what caught Marcus's attention. He put his face against the window because there was a lot of people around Buckingham Palace, more than normal, and there was a lot more noise. And so he was wondering what exactly was happening. So if you got that right, give yourself a tick. Well done. Number 3, rattled through the streets of London. Give 2 impressions this gives you of the way the horse-drawn carriage travelled through the streets of London. So the rattling of the carriage, so that when it's talking about rattling through the streets, it's talking about the way that it was driving around the cobbled streets of London and how the wheels wouldn't naturally be moving smoothly. They'll probably be quite bumpy and uncomfortable. Okay, so that's how they would have navigated through the streets. So you need to think about that when you're writing your answer. It's kind of building in a bit of context and a bit of history as well from your reading. Number 4, he could hear voices, some raised as if in heated argument and some singing, though he could not make out the words. Why did Marcus find it difficult to make out the words? So Marcus couldn't make out the words because remember he was on the omnibus and they did have windows, so the sound might have been muffled because of that. Also, he was on the bus with some other people around, so there might have been a lot of noise in the background and he might have found it much harder to hear what was happening. Question 5. Marcus is clearly shocked to discover that his mother is the suffragette protesting outside Buckingham Palace. Do you think that Marcus will support his mother or will he be ashamed of her actions? Now this one is up to you. It's what you think. There's no right or wrong answer. But what I would like to see is some use of evidence from the text and some justification for your answer. So you could say, yes, he will be ashamed because everyone's saying, look how badly she's behaving. But on the other hand, he might be aware of her beliefs and actually think, no, actually, I'm proud of what she's doing. So whatever you decide is fine, but just make sure you develop your answer further. Send us all of your work on either the Year 6 English area on Purple Mash, on the blog, or on your email. But please make sure you send it to us so that we can see how you've got on. I hope you have marked that through and that all the answers make sense. If you want to pause the video here, you can, and just kind of read through them again if you need to, and add in and correct your work as needed. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our English part of the lesson, and we're going to look at understanding and evaluating the different types of media. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to look at a text quickly and decide how useful it is, provide reasons for liking a type of media, and understand the differences between different types of media. So if you pause the video here, I want you to just write the learning intention in your book and underline it, please, even though I haven't on there. Apologies. And you don't need to write the date again because you've already written it at the top of your page, so that's fine. Okay. So there are many different types of media, and their main purpose is to inform the public and provide a neutral viewpoint on a range of issues. So they're expected to tell the truth, not to sensationalize the truth or make it even more exciting. That's not factual news. Okay, so sometimes when you look on the internet, for example, you might find something that you think, oh, I don't know if I trust this, I'm not too sure. And then if you watch it on the BBC, you might find actually the internet news wasn't. It was exaggerating, and actually what the truth is something quite different. So you need to think about what types of media are beneficial for the things that you're looking at. So look at the list below. I want you to think of examples for each. So print journalism or print media is to do with the written word, so where you have newspapers and magazines. Broadcast media is to do with television, broadcasting it to a wider audience. Outdoor is to do with the advertising boards that you see on the streets, on the road, when you're driving down the road. And internet, obviously, you know, there is so much information from everywhere. Okay, and I want you to think of 3 examples of each. So 3 different maybe types of newspapers and magazines, 3 different types of news programs, 3 different examples of advertising that you might have seen, and 3 different websites that you use for information from the internet. And then I want you to answer the question, what type of media do you prefer and why? And then I want you to write that down in your book as well. There's no right or wrong answer for this, it's just your opinion. Okay, so if you could pause the video here and have a go at the task before moving on. Okay, I hope you found that quite interesting, and you might have had to do a bit more research to get some more examples, but that's great. So, what is the media? The media is the name we give to any type of communication that carries a message. The media aims to communicate information or messages to many people at a time. Therefore, media is any form of communication, written, broadcast, or even spoken, that reaches a large audience. We receive hundreds of messages from the media every day. So, being at home on lockdown, you are exposed to the internet, to the TV, to the radio, and there's lots and lots of information. Even being at home, you're getting so much every single day, and sometimes it's quite overwhelming that you have to kind of just switch everything off and take a step back and think, right, I need to know what is truth and what is not. So media is good, but also it can be quite overwhelming as well. Now I want you to pause the video here, and I just want you to copy down that first sentence. The definition of media is the name we give to a type of communication that carries a message. So any type of communication. And as we go through, you're going to see that lots and lots of things that you didn't think were media are actually media. Okay, so where is the media? The media is everywhere. We see it every single day. It could be from text messages on our phone, advertising on TV, food packaging, the information on the back of that, advertising billboards, and then of course the TV, the radio. Lots and lots of information is given to us from lots of different ways every single day. Okay, so it is everywhere we go. So let's look at print media. Print media is the oldest form of media. That's how it first started. Everything was written down. And a lot of your parents and myself have grown up surrounded by newspapers and magazines being in the house. Nowadays, you can access a lot of this online, but while I was growing up, every Sunday my dad would have the newspaper, and it would just be kind of a ritual that you have a Sunday paper to read in the morning while you're having your breakfast. And we used to get all our news from there. Nowadays, things are everything is updated a lot quicker. So if you are to go on the internet, you will get the most up-to-date news. That's why people sometimes, I've noticed, are starting to not buy newspapers and magazines as much as normal. Broadcast media. So again, like I said, this is to do with TV, with radio, with movies, advertising on TV, any of that. So obviously over the years, the forms of media have changed. They're all still broadcast media. One of the key ones is music, and how music is so different to what it used to be. So before we had cassette tapes and CDs, your parents will remember, if you ask them to show you, they might even have some old vinyls. And now it's all MP3, it's on the internet, you can listen to it wherever you go, you can listen to it on your phone, you can listen to it on your TV, and it's all very, very different. So these are all forms of media. And I think we're living in a wonderful age where we are exposed to so many different ways of accessing that media. So digital media, the one that we use all the time, our phones, our tablets, the internet, video games, the consoles that you use, all of those are types of media. Okay, and obviously we have social media, which is the biggest invention of our generation, where we can keep in touch with celebrities, we can keep in touch with our friends and family, and all from a little phone. We can see everything. We can see the whole world and be connected to the whole world, which is absolutely amazing. So display media is to do with advertising. So the advertising boards that we have might be signs outside shops, might be posters on the wall. All of that is to do with display media because it's on display. And even in school, we have lots of display media, don't we? Where we have posters for events that are happening. You might even have display media in your classrooms, on your boards. So that's still providing information to you as well. Okay, and then obviously we have the internet, which is the best way to find out information, but also the most dangerous way. And when I say dangerous, I mean it's because sometimes we don't know if what we're reading is actually true. I've had many conversations with children who believe everything that they read on the internet, and that shouldn't be happening. If you want the facts, you need to go to reputable sites like BBC, like Sky News, and actually get the facts. Sometimes you get a lot of opinions in that news if you are on the internet, and that's often not the true facts of the story. Okay, so I've talked enough. It's your turn now. And you are going to do an independent task where we are going to look at all the different types of media. So first thing I want you to do is choose one type of media and answer the questions on the right hand side. So choose one of the medias from the box that's there on the screen. And I want you to answer the question, what is the purpose of this type of media? Why is it effective? And is it useful? Is it a useful way to get information? So for example, if I chose television, I would say the purpose of this media is to entertain and inform the reader or the viewer. Why is it effective? Because it has picture, it has writing on it, it is bright, it's engaging, and it makes people actually want to sit and watch what's on it. And is it a useful way to get information? Absolutely. Everyone has TVs nowadays, or you can watch television on your phone or on your tablet, so it's very accessible. So that's an example of what I want you to do. So you're going to choose one of those media and you're going to answer those 3 questions. When you've done that, you are going to think about all the different types of media and how do they vary and how are they similar. So how is the magazine different from television media? Or how is a smartphone different from the radio? And also, how are they similar? So how do they provide information and how do they present that information to the viewer or to the reader? Okay, so pause the video here and I want you to have a go at that task. Take your time. There's no rush. You can watch this video back as many times as you want. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that part of the lesson. Finally, what I would like you to do is just answer these 2 questions. Do you think the different types of media agree with each other? By that I mean, if you had a newspaper that was giving you the facts about a story, say COVID-19, and then we read something on the internet, do you think those stories would match in their opinion, or do you think might be a little bit different depending on who's written it? And which question out of the ones that you've just done did you really need to think about and why? Which one did you find the most difficult and why? So pause the video here and have a go at that task. Okay, now although we have answered this question, what is your favourite type of media and why? I would like you to think again. After we've done this lesson, do you think actually I've changed my mind now and I would like a different type of media? If it's the same, that's fine, but I would just like to see your opinion. Now remember, you need to send us your work on the email address for Year 6 or on the Purple Mash blog. Let us know how you got on. Did you like this new style of teaching? Did you like the videos? And did you find the work exciting and interesting? Give us your opinions. We'd love to hear from you. Take care and I'll see you soon.